are going to continue our foundational haircut series. We just did the one length haircut. We are going to build upon that. Okay, so we are going to still keep our one length haircut going, one length haircut sections, just like we had before. This time we're going to do long layers. With long layers, the first thing you want to do is your one length haircut. That's why we're building upon it. One length haircut. Get that done on your person. And then we're going to establish where the long layers are going to live. Here's the tricky part, okay? Where do we want these little guys to live? You want to look at your baby doll, look at your client, and ask them. Here's some different questions you can ask. Do you wear your hair in a ponytail at the gym? Is it important for you to have all your hair out of your eyes, or is it okay to wear barrettes and get it back there? If they say that they want all their hair to make sure it goes into a ponytail, you want to take that consideration where you're going to start your layers. We're going to pretend like that's the case today because we want to keep as much hair on this doll head as we possibly can, so I can show you a few more haircuts. But I will go through a couple of scenarios with you. So say yes, she goes, I wear my hair, my ponytail up here when I play tennis all the time. I need it up out of my face. So what you want to do is you're like, okay, here's your front sectioning. We're going to pull this back to the back here. And we know that this is as short as we can go with our layers around the face. Okay? Okay. Say she says, I wear it down here. Then you might need to add a little length to that so she can get it in a ponytail all the way down here. Whatever her scenario is, it's not up to you. It's up to her how she wants it. Maybe she's saying, yes, I wear it back here all the time. However, as you're the creative person, you're like looking at her going, wow, though, your cheekbones would really look really accentuated if we started your layers right in here, and that's where it would start. And you could tell her that. Say, how would you feel if we took it up a little bit shorter, meaning about right here, to see where that would live? That wouldn't get all the way back in either ponytail. Ask her if it's okay if she uses hairspray or barrettes or bobby pins or something to clip it back, a headband. And if that's okay with her, you can do something like that. But you got to build trust first before you get all creative on her, because if it's really important for her to wear it in her ponytails and you cut it really short, she won't ever be back to you. So we're going to pretend like she wants her hair to be in a ponytail all the way down here because we're trying to conserve some layers, because I want to show you some more haircuts on this same doll head. I don't want to go out and buy a whole bunch of mannequins. I'm not going to do face framing or anything like that. This isn't what this is about. Typically I would do face framing and then I would come in and do this. But I want to show you how to do this without worrying about that, because through all my years of teaching, face framing is what gets everybody held up big time. I mean, we've spent weeks and weeks teaching face framing. Now, I could do a whole video on that. I don't mind doing that, but I want to go through foundational haircutting. And so what this is going to teach you is that you can actually put layers in the hair without face framing. It's actually called natural inversion, and it is just an easy way of layering long hair. We've already put the one length haircut in there like we were talking about before. We've already decided that we're going to keep as much length on this as possible, and we've already tested that. So we're going to be taking, something like 3 inches off of this. Here's our sectioning. What we're going to do is we're going to take a mohawk section from the front all the way to the back, but not past the O-bone. So basically all of this mohawk section is going to be held straight up in the air. Okay? And so if you can imagine all this hair, and we're going to be cutting it at almost a 45. Depends on how long her hair is in the back. The longer the hair, the greater the angle. I've had people that I've actually done this mohawk and had to cut it that direction because her hair was way down here. So, but on this one, we're going to just cut it at a 45-degree angle. Let me show you what that looks like, okay? And again, it's a mohawk section, and that's where we're going to establish our guide. This is the front, and most of the time, you really won't be able to get all the hair up in your hands. So you want to work in the front section first. And so you can see this starting to take shape. That's my mohawk. I'm just doing it so you can see it. This is the front of her face. You want to make sure that you are holding this straight up from where it lives, meaning straight up from where it lives. Can you see that? Straight up. You're not going to be over directing, and you're not going to be over directing. You want to make sure, use your mirror if you need to, okay? And remember we said we were going to take about 3 inches off the front at a 45-degree angle. That's the front. I'm going to lay that hair out of my way. This is my mohawk. And now I need to get the section in the back all the way down to the O bone, right? Remember that? Because it's part of the mohawk. And I'm bringing that up, straight up. And I'm going to take some of this section that I cut before, straight up in the air. So most of this isn't going to be cut because her hair is not long enough. But straight up, see how it's living straight up from the hair, 45-degree angle. Okay, that's my section. That's my guide for the rest. Now guess what I'm going to do? That's when the curve of the head comes in handy again. We have our mohawk cut, curve of the head. Let me get closer so you can see this. So now all I'm going to do is part curve of the head here. I'm going to bring all that hair straight up, combine it with my mohawk section, and then I'm going to cut it. I'm going to do the same back in the back. I'm going to bring all that up, cut it. Go to the other side, right there on the curve of the head. I'll show you in action. Straight up, cut it. Curve of the head, straight up, cut it. Make sense? I'll show you what it looks like. I'm finding the curve of the head. As I'm doing this, all I'm doing is putting my comb down on her face. I mean, on the side of her head. I'm parting to the back of her ear. See that? See that? I've just found the curve of her head. I'm not cutting any of this down here because this is the strong perimeter we want to keep. I'm only cutting above the parietal ridge, above the curve of her head. See how important, why it's so important to know where that lives? Because if not, and I cut into that, I'm going to leave a hole. I'll probably leave a hole. So we don't want to cut into that. I'm going to find my guide up here. As long as you got the center of the hair, you got it, okay? I'm shaking my comb back and forth so I don't have any hairs underneath that haven't been combed through. And I'm bringing that straight up to the middle in where her nose is. So I am over directing a little bit, but just over directing it to the center so I can cut off what needs to be cut off. Let me show you what that looks like. All right, you see it? There it is. There's that section. Cut it straight off. Okay, so I did that curve of the head in the front. An easy way to keep that going is put your finger on the O bone. Take that section. That's all you're worried about in the back. You're just cutting that section. So I'm only working on this side of the head. I'm bringing it up. I'm going to bring it up with the rest of it. Straight up where it lives. I typically wouldn't be doing it this way, but I want to show you. And then I'm bringing it up. See this whole section? This whole side kind of coordinates with my other doll head. So all of this is all that gets to be layered. You're not layering under here. You're not layering this hair. This does not even go up in it. So now I'm going to look at this. A lot of hair to put in my hand, but you could see it doesn't have much to cut. So this might happen to you. See how it's falling down? Because it's too short to cut. You don't have to cut it if it doesn't need to be cut. Okay, let's do the other side. Again, I'm going to find the curve of her head. I'm just going to handle this section first. Got to find my guide up here. This is all cut, so it's all really a guide. I don't know about you, but doll heads are really hard to work with. There it is. Typically, always cut short to long. I'll go back over here. There it is. You have more control when you're cutting short to long, especially when it comes to layers. O-bone, find her O-bone. Bringing all this hair into that. Okay, and that's it. Isn't that easy? Long layers, easy breezy. Didn't have to do face framing. Let me see what this looks like. Kind of wish this little girl was blonde so you could see it. I think I'm going to go ahead and blow dry her out so you can see what this looks like. Okay, there you have it. Okay, so we blow dried it. So you can see that there are some layers in there. I don't know if you could see that or not, but you still have a strong perimeter line, okay? You don't have face framing, but there's layers in there. Okay, so if you were to curl this girl up, she would have some movement and some flow and some, fun things happening, but she still looks like she has hair. Easy, easy way to put some layers in somebody's hair without over layering them. Okay, I want to point out a few things that I did when I was blow drying. I always tend to blow dry how I cut the hair. As you could tell, I rough dried it first. I used my blow dryer and my hands, and I rough dried it from the roots of the hair to the ends using my nozzle going with the direction of the cuticle. That's laying the hair down, but it's also creating a little bit of movement at the roots of the hair because you want your roots good and dry. Because if your roots are not dry, it collapses the whole hairstyle. Your roots are like the foundation of your hairstyle, so the roots have to be dry at the base of the hair. Okay, so make sure 100% all the roots are dry, and then you can go in and with your fingers dry about until it's about 80% dry. Then I go in with my round brush and I section off the hair just like I did the haircut from the O-bone to the back of the ear. Get everything up out of my way, blow dry from underneath first, and then I section down a little bit more. My section shouldn't be any bigger than whatever the barrel size that you're using. The smaller the barrel, the smaller the sections. And you shouldn't gather any more hair in your section than the width of your brush. So you wouldn't want to grab all of this hair back here and try to do it. No, you want to make sure your section lays on your brush and all the bristles have hair on it. A couple of other things. When I get to the sides, I love secret sauce to angle my brush the same angle as the cheekbone. You notice I will never angle the brush and bring it forward towards the face. Let me just tell you, most people in their house, when they're blow drying their hair, they do tend to go like this because that's how they can reach it, and they're blow drying and they're blow drying. And then they're like, wow, my hair doesn't have any volume. And I just feel like, oh, I call it octopus hair because it just like attacks your face because you're blow drying it towards your face. How you get that so it doesn't do that is you hold the brush at the same angle as the cheekbone. Just remember that, same angle as your cheekbone. Everybody's cheekbones go up. So up, it doesn't have to, you don't have to remember 45. Same angle as the cheekbone, and then I make it come out just a little bit. Not on everybody. If they've got a really wide face, you want it to go down. You don't want to create volume on the side if they've got a round face. But if they've got a narrow face, you want a whole heck of a lot of volume on the sides to balance out that narrow face. But hot tip, the older we get, the more we have it come away from our face right there by our eyes, it really makes our eyes pop. Okay? So if you ever had anybody say, wow, my hair never looks the same as when you do it, that's probably why. But teach them how to do this at home so they always look great. And then when I got to the front section, you might have saw that I pulled it down and then I really over directed it this way and went up. And that's just to get you a little bit of bend and volume right in here. And all of my sections, I tend to blow dry, blow dry, blow dry, and then wrap up and let it sit for like 3 seconds. So it's naturally cooling in my brush. And so that kind of sets that curl into there. And then I let it go. And then after I did that mohawk section, blow dried that, then I went to the temple area and just connected those and made sure those were really good and dry. A lot of beginners, when they're blow drying, they have a really hard time right around the face. So that would be my 2 cents, if you will. What I wanted to show you is that you still got a lot of hair. This isn't, what I just showed you is not like, woo, Farrah Fawcett layered haircut. This is a simple layered haircut. When somebody says, hey, I want a little bit more movement in there, but I don't really want my hair layered. This will help you. Now, if they still have really long, thick hair, like my daughter, for example, we do this haircut on her just to give her some movement, but she doesn't want a layered haircut. She wants really long, beachy waves. But if she just had one length haircut, when she curled her hair, it would look more like a triangle, because if it's all one length haircut and you curl it, all the curls are down here, and so then you have this triangle looking thing. So when we do this little haircut on her, when she goes to curl her hair with a curling wand or a curling iron, it has more of a beachy wave because it gives her more movement throughout the hair. Now she still has really thick hair, so sometimes we go in and we use the texturizing shears on her to thin some of that out, and you can do that as well. So remember, I will post the next video. If you're liking these videos, make sure you hit the thumbs up, make sure to subscribe, practice this haircut, practice the blow dry. Our next in our series is going to be a longer bob, so we could preserve the length on our baby doll, so I can show you some more haircuts. I hope you enjoy this series because I'm really enjoying making it for you. Thanks again for watching.